Today's goal is to teach you guys how we deal with the worst digging conditions that we have in our particular region. It's not solid rock and it's not frozen ground, although this is probably going to be a little bit frozen. But what we have today is old riverbed. This is about as bad as it gets for us, and the reason that it is because we have nothing but cobble, washed cobble. It doesn't have any fractured edges, so it's real smooth. And so our holes want to walk all over the place, and at the same time, they call it binding agents, I think. So there's no topsoil that gets gummy when it gets wet. So we can't just add water to this because it just drains away. It's nothing but river rock, round river rock, and sand. And so anytime we try and dig a hole, we're just going to end up with a great big crater. We can shovel as much as we want, but eventually, and it eventually will stop, but we'll end up with something much larger than what we wanted. And it's really hard to get it to depth. A lot of our specs that we run into call for 42 inches of depth, and trying to get that here can be very challenging. So we'll see how good we can do today. Our goal is to end up with a 12-inch hole that's 42 inches deep, so that we're not using extra energy and effort trying to get the soils around it compacted or extra concrete. All right, so one of the first things that we're always considering when we dig in rocky ground is we're making our X's a lot larger than we normally would. And the reason for that being is we're anticipating that auger walking off of it and us needing to try and pinpoint where that hole should be so that we don't have to come back later on, move our holes or hand shave our holes. And this is our pink paint. Love the pink paint. This is 249 or Arvo 249 paint, which we love. Get that from Tool Up. We've already dropped a link in another video, but if you want a refresher on where we get that from, we get it from Tool Up. And you'll find out a little bit more about why we prefer the shovel over the clam hole. Now, I'm not, or the clamshell diggers or double shovels. I'm not going to say these things don't have a place, but in our on our trucks they just don't serve us well, and so we've never found any value of carrying these around. We've got a standard shovel here. And what we like to do when we're doing 9-inch holes is we'll take a grinder and we'll basically trim this shovel down to about that wide. And when we trim that shovel down to about that wide, it fits in a 9-inch hole so that we're able to still get into a 9-inch hole. Without further ado, we're gonna hop in the old Bobcat here. So we have dig augers. This is a high flow machine, which means that when we kick it into high flow, we can turn up our revolutions. And sometimes that's handy, sometimes it's not. We'll probably start out digging this hole at a fairly slow speed, or as slow as our skid steer will go. And then if we need to clean things up or really pack that, what we can get is a lot of wobble in our auger, and that'll help us pack that hole back out once we get our secret ingredient added. All of our augers are cast head, which a lot of the ones that you're going to see in your rental fleets they have bolt-on teeth. And so when they're just steel, they'll end up bending down here, and then these teeth will rotate underneath, and then once that happens, all your teeth will be pointed straight down. You'll just throw teeth all over the place, and your augers are basically ruined. So if you're going to be in the fence business, or if you got really tough digging conditions, it's worth it to find somebody that has one of these as opposed to a non-cast head auger. Basically, it's just probably some sort of high carbon steel. The other thing you'll see on our augers is we hard surface all the edges all the way up, and then we add a little bit of a ridge of rebar, and that just helps keep dirt stuck to the auger so that when we run into real dry conditions, you people back in a lot of the areas where you have a lot of rain don't have to worry about that, but out here it just gets popcorn fart dry is what we like to call. And when that happens, everything just wants to slide right off the auger, and it's hard to get it to come out of the hole without water. So that's why we put the rebar on our augers. You'll also notice we go with the hex head rather than the round. The reason is we're putting a lot of torque on these augers, and without a good hex head, we just end up running through these shear pins, because then all the force is on this pin right here. But with the hex head, it's actually on the shaft of the auger itself. Now we'll go over here and see what the digging conditions look like. Now we've got our hole, and you can see what kind of a mess. I'm gonna guess right now we're probably about 2 feet in diameter, and you can see we're left with nothing with cobble. We could work here at this hole all day long trying to clean it out with the auger, and the only thing we're going to pull out is what little dirt we have. This isn't quite as sandy as I would like to see it, so there's a chance that maybe we could add just water and be okay with this, but in a lot of cases around this area, water's not going to do it. Down underneath this, there's a little bit of topsoil here, but down underneath this, I guarantee you it's primarily sand. So we can get in here and we can do this, and after a bit we'll get all these rocks out. These are fairly worthless. I could spend a lot of time here working with a set of those and not really get anywhere. This is bad enough, but you can see how much more material with a shovel. We should be at our 42 inches, and that's when we're digging holes commercially. 42 inches is what we're shooting for. And let's say that I'm trying to hand dig a hole next to utilities. With one of these, I'm disturbing a lot more area because I'm trying to pound through it with these, and it's really hard to be super careful. So hand digging around utilities, what we like is we like this. So let's say this is our utility mark and the utility company had marked it. Obviously we would not be using our skid steer to drill this hole, but what we can do is we can start out here away from our mark and dig very carefully with the tip of our bar. And we have a lot of weight, but we can also dig right here. Whereas if I was using a set of post hole diggers, I'd have a surface here, plus I'd have one over close to here. Now if I turn it this way, I still have something that's crossing my utility, and I'm really having to put a lot of force on that. So using a digging bar and being cautious, and then using a shovel where all I'm doing is pulling out loose dirt, gives me a lot smaller surface area where I can be effective and kind of pinpoint where I'm directing my energy towards, hopefully away from that utility. Now we got all that out, let's put it back in and we'll keep going, because this is really what we do. So you might think I'm crazy, but if we're doing the technique that we're talking about, I do want as much of that dirt in the hole as possible. We're going to try it with water and just see what happens with just plain water and see if we can be effective. Don't be afraid to refresh your marks or give yourself a little bit better idea. Bucket. Okay, I'm going to save a little bit. We'll drill down and then we'll try and add some more if it looks like it's working at all. So you can see that I kicked that auger speed up, and that's you're done by using our high flow. We're just basically running more volume through our hydraulic pump, and it gives us less torque, so it'll stall out faster at high flow. But once we get it to this point, you can see we're still pretty dry. I mean, this is just the dry ground that we run into here. If there's any big, large, obvious rocks, usually we have somebody on the outside of the skid steer and they're trying to pull the rocks, these big rocks away. What happens if they fall in the hole, then it wants to kick the auger off, and once we finally got the auger down right on top of our X, we're trying to keep it there. And these rocks will throw us off all over the place if we don't pull them out of the hole. So we can add some more water. We'll add a lot more. It looks like this is gonna work perfectly. I love it when a plan comes together. Dang it, that worked too well. We got to go down like another 4 or 5 inches. We got to go deeper. There are times we run into this and we don't have enough topsoil here with binding agent to be able to bind all that together. It doesn't matter how much water you add, it'll just drain away. So we'll show you on another hole how we deal with that. So you can see how those rocks are kicking him off of his mark. So he's having to dig wherever it'll start going down. But eventually his goal is to get that auger all the way sunk all the way down into the ground and get it right on top of his X. And so I'll guide him if I need to, because he might not be able to see, but having that big X helps us keep our line after we've got a big blown out mess. Yeah, this one's not gonna work so good. That's too nice. So his hole moved almost 6 inches off center line, so he's got to try and get it back to the center so we get concrete all the way around it. And this is exactly what we deal with. You get it down, but it's in the wrong spot. You don't want to have to hand dig it. So now he's going to move that hole with his auger, but we're going to have a mess. So you can see he finally got his hole down here right where we want it, but we got a little bit of a cratered out mess. We know already that this soil's got enough, if we add moisture, that it'll bind together, but we'll show you what else we can do that'll make it really bind. So what this is bentonite. And I guarantee you when we're done, we will absolutely have a beautiful hole. It makes really, really gooey mud. So it'll bind all the rocks. If we didn't have any sands or anything like, if it was just nothing but sand, it'd bind all that and basically just stick together. And if you put this in a hole and you add a little bit of water, let's say it's a summer day or something, you come back a couple hours later, it'll harden like concrete. I mean, it just gets super hard. 42 inches deep, that's what we're looking for, 42. Is he's going to run that auger in a couple times, just kind of let that stuff fall back down to the bottom, and that's why we don't clear any of the dirt. We just let that dirt sit there and kind of build up a cone around it that gets harder and wetter. And he'll run it in and out of there a couple times. We'll just watch for the moisture and try and get the right moisture content mixed all the way down to the bottom, and eventually we'll have a 42 inch deep hole that's exactly 12 inches. I'll just dump it all in there. There you go. There it is. Get it. Oh, he's an overachiever. We got like probably 46 to grade, and we didn't put a shovel in there one time. But this technique works in some of the worst digging conditions. When you're just going to end up with a hole that big, it doesn't matter if it's sand or whatever else it is. Anytime the water is just going to drain away as fast as you can add it in there and nothing really binds together, the bentonite is the trick. I mean, it's just... And the sun hits that on a good sunny day and it'll dry like concrete. So give that a try the next time you're struggling to get your holes dug, and make sure that you have the right auger, because you'll just throw teeth and cost a bunch of money. And this is actually a pretty heavy duty auger. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hope you learned something. If you like what we're doing, make sure and give us a thumbs up, like the video, hit the notification bell so you know the next time we show you some tips or tricks, you don't miss out on anything that we put out. And until next time, you have a good dang day. This is good stuff. You know why we have these little horses like this? Just because when we video them, they take up less hard drive space. A lot smaller. The files get pretty big when you video, so video small things and the files aren't quite as large. I'm always thinking.